This content is important to do your own analysis before making any investment based on your own personal circumstances. The Better Traders is not a broker dealer. We are not an investment advisor. We have no access to non-public information about publicly traded companies or cryptocurrencies. And this is not a place for the giving or receiving of financial advice, advice concerning investment decisions, or tax or legal advice. The value of investments and the income derived from them can go down as well as up. Investors may not get back the amount they invested, and past performance is not a guide to future performance.
Hey guys, it's me, and Papa, and you are watching my live stream here on YouTube. It's good to see everybody here. I just got to clean a couple of things up because I just realized I was doing a little bit of research just before the live stream, which is always helpful. Yeah, I just need to make sure that this thing is good. Good. Okay. So it's good to see everybody. I hope everyone is doing well. I hope that you can hear me. It seems like you can. Yep. So I just want to take a minute to just do a pulse on how everybody's doing. I understand that last week was crazy, or this week rather, I guess the weekend. But dropping to a little over $17,500 and to shoot right back up to 20K. Yeah, that's it was quite a surprise. And yes, this is live Nikaman 28. Yes. So when I look at the chart, and this is what I need to fix. Ready? Ta-da! Okay. So when I look at the chart, it's insane. So this is the exact week where I said that I was expecting Bitcoin to drop, and it happened. So that's pretty insane. So that theory has worked out well, and that theory is based off of the TBO. So just to take a refresher to explain all of this, so this thing that looks like a sock puppet from hell, this thing with the yellow circles, whatever, this is showing you a formula based off of the TBO. And the TBO is an invite-only indicator that's available on the bettertraders.com. On the website, it's in the link down below. It's a fantastic indicator for tons of stuff. Highly, highly, highly recommended. I use it for everything, literally everything. So this little formula that I discovered, this pattern rather, is pretty powerful. So we have two closed longs, which are the blue diamonds. We have a cross down, which is the red X. And then we have a pink triangle pointing down. That's open short. When we have all of these happening in order, 1, 2, 3, like that. So it's actually 4, but close long, cross down, open short. That is signaling on the weekly time frame the start of the bear market, really. It's letting us know in advance when it's going to happen. So these measurements of dates right here, 98 days, 126 days, these are based on previous market cycles. So even though it wasn't the exact same, we still have the same formula, the same pattern happening for a Corona crash. So look, we got two closed longs, cross down, open short happens after the weekly dump, but that's because it was a black swan event. But it's interesting to see it saying, watch out, watch out, watch out over here at 8,000 before it dropped all the way down to 4K. So going back to 2018, here it is. Same formula, close long, cross down, open short. And then this one, I measured it from the candle after the open short until we capitulated, which in my mind, we capitulated the week of December 17th, 2018. So capitulation in my mind is after we see some big green candle moves like this. You could say, well, that's a bullish engulfing candle on the weekly time frame. You would be right. But really what I'm looking for is confirmation that that's the bottom. And if you didn't know if that's the bottom, you can see here that we don't get this low again. The TBO even tells us. If I hide the volume, you can see the green dots here showing us support, and support moves up right away. So that's it. So does this happen back 4 years before that, in 2014? Yes, it does, although we don't have enough data for the TBO to see our closed longs. But after using the TBO for a long time, I imagine that it's going to be right here, which is why those are circled, but they're empty. We have cross down, open short, and then this took 98 days for it to bottom out, then capitulate. So we are in the week of a possible capitulation. So 2014 took 98 days after the open short to bottom out, then capitulate. So if we go back to where we are right now, that's why I'm 98 days up here. So this is literally the exact same thing. So here's our bottoming out, here's our lower wick, but we don't have a move up yet. Now, I'm not expecting this capitulation to be a bullish engulfing candle. That would mean Bitcoin would have to close the week at 27K. It's possible, but super unlikely. To me, it feels more plausible to expect something like 2018 to happen, where we fell down and we went up a little bit. We fell down a bit more and a bit more. So falling down from candle close to candle close, that's another 20%. So if we were to fall another 20% from where we are on our candle close, that would put us right here at 16.3, just a little bit below where we wicked. Let me hide that so you can see. So it's just a little bit further down. So I think it is possible that we can fall further. I know there are a lot of people talking about, here, let me switch. There are a lot of people talking about 10K, sub 10K, 3K. And I've said this before to on YouTube videos, and I've said it before in my Better Traders Club. It just feels like people are so depressed that they're just expecting the price of Bitcoin to plummet. It's possible we could see a drop down to 13K. There are good reasons for that. Reasons that make sense on the chart. And if we look at the macroeconomic picture of everything's getting ready to crash. So if everything crashes, then Bitcoin will crash too. So I recognize that this model that I have, it's not foolproof, like it's not like a sure thing. But as far as the timeline goes, right now, it's working pretty well. So according to what's happened in 2014 and 2018, we are right on track. This is perfect to see it. So we have this time frame here of another month or so. So we could, believe it or not, I mean, if we're going to do the exact same thing as 2014, which is this measurement, then we would see a green candle this week. And keep in mind, all we have to do this week to close green is to close above 20,557, like it says right there. For just for some perspective's sake, that is literally a percent. We just have to close 1% higher than where we currently are. That is totally possible. That is not hard to imagine at all, in my opinion. So yeah, we could close green, but I mean, we closed green this week only to fall further. So we'll see. But this is a really amazing candle right now. This is a terrible doji where the body is really thin and upper wick and the lower wick are almost equal. It'll look more equal when it closes here. But if it does, like, that's a great candle, but it doesn't mean that we're done, unfortunately. If we see something like this, then this is a kind of candle that tells a lot of traders, oh, we're going to be moving up, which we do. This isn't that kind of candle. This isn't a good one to have at all. So anyway, if we look at some other things, like our trend lines, where are those guys? Oh. Zoom out. Okay. Oh yeah, this is another reason why I don't think we're going to be going to 10K personally. I think it's a little bit unrealistic, and just because it's the same thing as saying like we're going to stop at 20K. It's just a number. Like we could go lower. It's true. 20K has good reason because it was the previous all-time high. So there's strong support there, which we're seeing right now, especially because the candle last week closed at 20,552. So that's really, really good. So that's one reason why 20K should hold. But 10K, I mean, why? Like what strong support do we have at $10,000 other than it's a round number? Like that doesn't make sense to me. So what makes more sense is to draw some lines, to draw some trend lines, and to do some plotting and some figuring out. So just based on some simple plotting and simple TA that would not take anyone too much time. I'm just drawing a trend line from our bottom in 2018. This is the weekly chart all the way to the candle close. Now, I did draw to the lower wick here on Bitstamp, but that plots us down here at like 6K, which that's doomsday scenario. I talked about this in way more depth in last week's Better Traders Club live stream, which if you join the club, we actually have a backlog of all of the live streams that I've ever done. So you can watch that one in depth with all the chapter markers to zip ahead if you want to. But the further along we progress in time, the higher up this trend line is moving. So our trend line is telling us right now a couple of things. Well, we also have this as well. So this is showing us where I thought we were going to end right here at 21K. We pierced it. And this was my next target, which was 17,340. We didn't get close enough to it. And that, by the way, is basically figured out by this high right here. So in that general area, it didn't pierce it, which is good. So that means there's a lot of people buying in this area. Makes sense, right? So when I look at this and I think about where could it fall next? Well, the next logical place where there's strong support is right here. So this mid-cycle bull run had a high at $13,880 that you can see right there. What I find interesting though is that well, rather more hard to believe is like, why 10K? There are so many levels of support. One has already been, it hasn't even been touched. It was so strong. And right now we closed this weekly candle above the all-time high from the last cycle. So far, we're above the all-time high from the last cycle again. It doesn't mean that we're never going to go down, but this shows that there's a lot of buying strength in here, which is great. It's obvious, but just again, I mean, it helps to think about this rationally and not get wrapped up in all the drama and like 10K, 6K, but it just gets over sensationalized in my opinion. So we see it moving down, great. And now we have this support. So if this support breaks, the next one to hold is here at 17.6. If that cracks, the next one to hold would be this line, which is 14K. But again, our real strong one is 13K, 13,880. So again, 10K isn't even in the picture. It's not even in the cards. It doesn't make sense. If I go up here to our Binance chart, I've been doing more analysis with fib lines. And again, fib lines don't lie. I talk about this so much in the Smarter Trader course for good reason. But I just want to show you there's so many things happening right here that it's silly. So basically there's a lot of these in the same area is a good thing. Lots of points of confluence, lots of things in agreement. So we have strong support here. Where's our next strong support? Well, it's right there at 13.9, which is amazing because that's right there at that. I mean, and then we even have support here. The 0.786 is at 13.365. So again, there's a lot of support down here in the nether regions of our bear market. So I don't see 10K being feasible. It just seems like a number of people are pulling out their butts to make people freak out and sell so they can buy more at a cheap price. I just don't see what favor that's doing for anybody trying to scare them like that. So let's go to the TBO on the daily time frame just to see what's happening. So if you've never used the TBO before and this is all new to you, you're going to love this. So the TBO has lots of symbols just like any other indicator, except its strength is literally in the name, the trending breakout indicator. So it lets us know the strength of a trend. It also lets us know when we're going to have breakout or these yellow dots indicate a breakdown. So we had 3 breakdown symbols right here in a row, and the price took a little bit of time to accept it, but it did in fact break down. It fell 40% after that. So why am I pointing this out? Well, the TBO is also comprised of 4 different moving averages. I understand that it's dark. It's difficult to see, but we can see the lines over here. So we got 23K, 26K, 28, and then 36. These are all the different moving averages. All of these moving averages right now are mostly pointing down, although this one at the top is starting to smooth out. which is good. Well, I'm saying this to you because inevitably the price has to come up to meet the fast line, the TBO fast line, or the fast line has to angle down drastically in order to meet or catch the price. Let me see a good example of a dump. Let's go back to summer. Here we go. So this is our summer 2021. The price tanked. See how dramatically the fast line is pointing down. Then it starts to smooth out a little bit, and then finally it gets touched. So comparing that to where we are now, we've seen it point dramatically down, of course, because it's like a magnet. It's magnetized to the price, and now it's starting to smooth out, kind of similar to this, right? So inevitably, it's going to keep coming down like this, and then it's going to smooth out, something like that. And you see this price range is totally attainable for BTC to keep going sideways, and eventually it's going to hit it. Now, just because it hits it doesn't mean we're going up to $1 million. That isn't what it means at all. You can see it's done that same thing a lot of times. Here it fell down dramatically, touched, fell, touch and go, touch and go, touch and go. The main thing that I look for as far as a reversal is concerned are these guys, the orange diamonds, which are close shorts, the opposite of our close long, like these blue diamonds letting us know we might want to take some profits. You might want to consider the fact that the trend might change, which calling this on November 16th with the candle close of 60K, I think it called it pretty well. Even here it said, hey, you might want to take some profits. And here, hey, you might want to take some profits. Called it pretty well. So if we look on faster time frames, what's happening right now is a battle of the bulls and the bears. So we can see that the price is going sideways, which I predicted it will do for a while. I don't expect a retest of this range anytime soon. I still am holding to the belief that we're going to close above the weekly candle, and it's going to close green this week, really similar to this, before we fall down further. So I still think we're going to be going sideways. It doesn't make sense for me. It doesn't make sense to me to see the price fall right away. We've already seen it pierce, and our volume as well has been insane, as well as RSI. So looking at volume, looking at RSI is on the move up, and we're just doing nothing. We're going sideways. We're flatlining, a lot like we did over here. So I'll be watching RSI, but I really won't be excited about it unless Bitcoin makes a move to the upside. Then it's confirmed bullish divergence, but we're not seeing, that's not real divergence either. So I'm not really feeling any good vibes from it. If we go to our really long-term chart, go to the weekly time frame, I've talked about this a lot. If we focus on RSI alone on the weekly, it is at 12.47. It is currently, well, it's still actually above. And actually, look at that. I didn't even notice this because I haven't checked it. It's starting to flatline. If we close green this week, this thing's going to be moving up, and it'll resemble this. It'll be moving up. And actually, it'll do exactly this. This would make the most sense. Moving up, we close another week down, red, it'll come back down, down. So I'm not showing you this to get you super duper excited yet. If you want to wait for confirmation, I already talked about this in a previous video, you want to wait until RSI crosses up 20 or crosses up 25 or 30 would be super safe. But right now it's in a fantastic area. So just because it's this low doesn't mean it's a great time to buy. We could still fall. But if you want to just zoom out and take a second and recognize that, wow, people are super bearish right now. No duh. Look. Oh wait, I have to point this way. Look at that right there. It's literally right there on the chart. That's hilarious to me that it's that low. It's at 12. This doesn't happen that often. It only happens where? At the bottom of each bear market. So keep that in mind before you get taken over with fear and doubt and all that stuff. Okay, so I do want to look at Ethereum. So let me scoot to this. There's a lot of craziness over here too. So let me hide some of this. This is too much. There we go. So making it real plain and simple. So one thing that's really cool, I'll do that in a second. One thing that's really great about where Ethereum is right now is all of the bearish selling, all of the volume right there. Let me just hide the TBO so you can see it. It's incredible. The amount of volume we're seeing right here is the same as our dump in the bear summer, the same as our pump right here, same as this pump, same as the Corona crash. Again, we can't ignore volume like that. I mean, that's incredible volume. It's a lot of trading volume for Ethereum. Could it fall further? Yeah, it could. But still, it's hard to ignore crazy volume like that. That typically signals either the capitulation or a big dump. So, I mean, I don't know. We'll see. But I mean, my target for Ethereum was 1,000 and it pierced below that to 873. So let's figure out where could it fall on the weekly time frame. Where's the next strong place of support? Well, that would be $500 per Ethereum, if you can believe that. There's still a lot of support above 1,000, just because 1,000 is a really nice round number. This is one of those instances where it makes sense, but you can see that it almost touched this line of support right here. Almost, but not quite. If it does fall further, yeah, it's going to find support here at 500 next. If it does, there would have to be some really bad stuff happening for it to do that. If we take a measurement, though, this is the part you're not going to like. I'm sorry. I'm not here to tell you what you want to hear. So far, it's only fallen 80%. It's not bad. Keep in mind the last market fell 95%. So this is where things get scary to look at. That's $200. That's like super FUD, super doom and gloom. If we take the measurement, though, that's 94%. It's crazy. So, and again, we can see the same formula to close, longs, cross down, open, short. I mean, it's not rocket science. So looking at the daily time frame for this, same thing, super oversold. And now the TBO is starting to flatten out, which is good. We'll see a little bit of a rally and we have to crack above 1283. And that's probably where we'll touch the TBO. And then we'll see what happens next. But again, lots of volume, lots of heavy buying below $1,000. And we'll see. We'll see. Let me go back though to the weekly time frame, and I want to put up our fibs. Yeah. So there's going to be strong support here at 800, and then of course the 618 is at 481, which is in that same range of $500. So again, if we're going to get real bearish, that would be the bottom, like the bad bear bottom. Like that would be terrible. Okay, so that's what I'm seeing. That's what I'm thinking. Oh, and I wanted to show this too. RSI on this. Actually, we need to do it on Kraken, I believe. Yep. So Kraken has a lot more history. If we look at where we are right now, it's crazy. We're looking at RSI at 1231, and it's actually never been this low on any of these charts. The lowest it was in 2016 was 1469. The lowest it was here in 2018 was 1409. I mean, now we're at 12. So just keep that in mind. There are reasons why things are super oversold right now. It makes sense, right? So we just gotta not give in too much to that fear. Okay. Now I want to talk about something that I see. It's a question from Adam V. When Bitcoin becomes bullish, will the altcoins drop further in value? There's a way that I've actually been tracking this. It's with Bitcoin dominance, Ethereum dominance, others dominance, which is the alt bucket, and USDT, USDC. So Tether and Circle's USD coin. This looks a little bit confusing, but let me explain. On the left side, we have red and purple, which red is USDT, purple is USDC. So these are stablecoin dominance. Together, if we add it up, it's about, what, 15% or no, 14% stablecoins. Then our orange one, of course, is Bitcoin, hovering at 14%. Blue is others. at 12 and Ethereum is at 14, or basically 15%. So why am I showing you this? This doesn't make sense. When Bitcoin becomes bullish, will the altcoins drop further in value? This is going to tell you that. So as Bitcoin dominance rises, what falls? Well, everything. Ethereum dominance fell and others fell drastically on May 11th. And that's actually when the Luna fiasco started. And then it bottomed out. Where did it bottom out? When Bitcoin dominance started to fall. Whenever Bitcoin dominance starts to fall, expect people to be putting their tokens, their money, rather the Bitcoin, and buying others with it. Because as BTC dominance falls, others is going to rise. This is not taken into account price action, and not every single alt is moving up. But you have to agree that when we look at the watch list for like Binance BTC, there are a lot of coins that are doing well and they're in the green and they're moving up. So that should make you think like, wait, what's going on? Like, people aren't afraid yet. And this is a new market. It's different. I get it. But still, it doesn't make sense. It shouldn't be that way. As Bitcoin becomes bullish, then we should see a move up for dominance. But we're not seeing that right now, which means that alts probably need to drop more and Ethereum probably needs to drop more. Although Ethereum's been punished pretty badly. It was all the way up here at 20% in May 10th, and now it's down to 15%. And alts have also fallen quite a bit as well. So the other thing that's really interesting and important to pay attention to is Bitcoin's relation to stablecoin dominance. We've seen so much more stablecoin dominance rising and growing. Our peak right here on June 18th was USDT at 8.8, USDC at 6.5. Roughly, that's what, 15.5% of the market dominance is held in stablecoins. That shows a lot of fear. Anytime that this starts to move up like this, that's fear. But when we see stablecoin dominance drop, let me put this back up so we can see others is shooting up like a rocket right here. When? July 28th. This is when we had our midsummer or late summer alt rally, right? And it moved up and up and up and up. And then finally the market crashed and it tanked. So now we're slowly starting to see Bitcoin dominance move up. We can see the same thing with Ethereum. Ethereum also topped out at the same time. But note, during this time, during this rally, Bitcoin dominance was falling. And what's moving up? Stablecoins. And now stablecoins are moving way up. So it's important to keep an eye on stablecoin dominance. Whenever we see stablecoin dominance fall, that means that there's less fear in the market. That means that Bitcoin has a chance to move up in price. That means that alts will definitely rally. So when we see the inverse of that, when we see Bitcoin dominance rallying, we see altcoins rallying, that means that this is not a good time for expecting another alt season, we'll say. That's a nice way to say it. So just be real careful. This isn't the time to be holding a ton of alts. This is the time to be accumulating Bitcoin at these levels. And once you have it, then if you have some extra cash, then you can start buying and using a small percentage of portfolio to look into alts. But other than that, like, that's madness. Like, I wouldn't go too crazy with that. I would not go ham on that. So we're getting real close for me to finish up the live stream. I just want to point out a couple of things that I know what I just said about alts. I know what I just said. But on Discord for our Better Traders Club members, I post a watch list with every single live stream, and one of our members got a nice 22% gain in just 3 days from the live stream, which is awesome. And if you want to know more about the club, there's tons of stuff that's included in it. The community is fantastic and people are helping each other. There are indicators, there are tools like the DCA backtester. I just posted a video this week about it. There are also the TBT forecaster, the TBT stop loss hunting alert, the better dip signals. There's a ton. I don't have enough breath to go over everything, but you can learn more about it here on our site if you go to the club. So the main things to take away right now is that, yes, there are opportunities to make some gains. I am trading alts, but I'm using a smaller portion of my portfolio. I don't want to overexpose myself to alts because I want to be careful. I don't want to put my portfolio in a bad spot. I want to make sure that I am watching my Bitcoin portfolio, and I'm not worried so much about price fluctuations yet. If things change dramatically for Bitcoin, and for instance, this week doesn't close green, then expect next week to be red again, and expect next week for us to drop down to 17K and test that again. I don't think it's going to happen. I think we're going to close green, just because we're so overextended and so oversold. But it depends on a lot of other factors. So that's what I'm watching for. So let me know. Wait, no, I see a couple of questions coming in because now I'm wrapping up. Of course, it's coming in. Let's see. Oh, good. Hobbs, welcome to the club. Yay. Yes. Hey, Vincent. So Zion Creative Studio, what's your opinion on XRP? Any price predictions? I know that they had a chance to post something publicly about the lawsuit that they're currently in. But that's all I know about it. I don't know much else. So just looking at the chart, do we have something else that's a little bit older? Maybe if I do, there we go. There's always an older chart. I just had to make sure because it is really important. Okay, so let me do a couple of things. So the first thing I like to do is go to my trusty RSI. I do. So looking at Bitstamp, relative strength index, it's at 13. It's never been this low in this asset's history. I find it interesting, fascinating really, that because of all of the legal red tape, this is one of those tokens that was not able to break above its previous all-time high. Isn't that sad? I know there are a lot of people that are super bullish on XRP, but I just find it unbelievable, to be honest, that it didn't break up and it didn't shoot up a lot higher. But probably a lot of XRP holders are feeling the same way. So as far as the TBO goes on the weekly time frame, again, same formula, literally the same formula. 2 close longs, cross down, open short. So if you got that, you had your chance to sell at 80 cents and save 60% on your holdings. So what happens now? Let me see. So right now we're at support according to the TBO, but even with price action, it's pretty obvious that there is support right here because of all these wicks, all this price action, and there's also support here at 28 cents, which correlates with this range. So that looks pretty good. There's the bottom of the barrel at 14 cents. Again, I have a hard time with that. If we do a measurement from top to bottom, it's fallen 84%. That's pretty deep. But again, what I talked about the TBO fast line, it's a magnet for the price, right? So we haven't even seen the price make a move up to this. So this is, in essence, it's a target. The price has fallen so far out of the cloud. Looking at any time it's fallen dramatically away from the cloud, it does have a recovery move up. I'm not saying that that's going to happen right now, but that's a real long drop from it. So as far as where we are now, it seems like it's on track. I mean, it could, of course, fall further, just like anything else could. Let me do another thing real quick to hide that. And I gotta reverse it. Then hide my lines that I just drew. Yikes. Yeah, well, it's not good. Yeah, again, 25 cents. I just deleted all those, didn't I? So that 25-cent line lines up with one of these fib lines. So that's probably a target that people are expecting, unfortunately. Let me do one more. No, not that. Not that one. This way. Pop. Okay. Let me hide the previous one. Okay. So doing an inverted fib retracement. Yeah, not looking good. It's super oversold. I know that for sure. So if we're talking about where could it go, well, I mean, the obvious place for it to go right now is up. Thanks, Moon Papa. You're the best. You're welcome. I know. So yeah, it's broken a huge trend line. The next target would be 91 cents, in my opinion, and that's not going to happen right away. Markets don't move like that. And then there's obvious resistance here at $1.80 or whatever. Again, it's like it goes to that same reason. Like I'm really nervous about doing anything with alts right now. Only a small percentage. There's a huge risk to reward ratio though. Even if it falls down to 25 cents, and that would be a fall of another 20%. If you could wait and just grab it on a deeper discount, I mean, there are a lot of chances for you to make some good returns in a bear market. Okay. All right, good. I'm going to cut it there. So, I don't know why I did that sound. Nobody's dying. But anyway, thank you for hanging out with me. I hope everybody is doing well. Don't freak out too much. Try to zoom out and look at the big picture before you start freaking out. And until the next time, you know what to do. Stay awesome and stay in the green. Peace.